Fantasy Football Fallout tight ends. We are talking about what happened in week 3. How does it relate to week 4? We're going to drop some waiver wire pickups for you. If that's all you care about, click the timestamp below. It'll take you right there. As I always do, I talk about the projected top 10, who actually scored in the top 10. I hand out my awards, the Nut Kick Player of the Week. Somebody got me right in the crotch. I'm sure they got you as well. Please comment below. Let me know who gut punched you the most this week at the tight end position, whether it was one of your players that you thought would do better or somebody that you just ran into. You ran into a buzzsaw and you got beat because somebody else had the right tight end at the wrong time. New this week for people that are following the series, I am now comparing ESPN to RoccoBot. I don't do this before week 2. I like to have a couple of weeks in-season data before I do that. So it's now, starting in week 3, ESPN and RoccoBot. Grudge match. They are now fighting one another. So as always, let me just get to those projected top 10s, and then we'll talk about who actually scored there. As always, the players in white are the ones that RoccoBot and ESPN got correct. In order, now Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews for ESPN, they have not played yet as of the time of this recording, so they might very well be in there. You got Darren Waller, who had a tough game against New England, Dallas Goedert, who was injured. You got Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, Evan Ingram, Hayden Hurst, and Jonnu Smith. On RoccoBot's side, you had Higbee, who completely disappeared against the Buffalo Bills, Hayden Hurst, Jonnu Smith, Jordan Reed, Logan Thomas, Alie-Cox. That's right. Once Doyle wasn't a factor, Alie-Cox was projected, so there you go. Noah Fant, Austin Hooper, Travis Kelce, Mike Gesicki. Austin Hooper was funny because I had Harrison Bryant or Austin Hooper getting in the end zone. Wouldn't you know it? Harrison Bryant got it. Oh, well. Logan Thomas had a lot of targets. That's kind of his deal. Jordan Reed went out early. That was actually a Kittle projection, and I slid Jordan Reed in there once I knew that Kittle wasn't going to be a factor. But then Jordan Reed went out, as Jordan Reed does. It's kind of his deal. Hayden Hurst gets in the end zone, but only one catch in that game. Very odd. Very odd. So who actually scored the top 10 here? I'll give you the top 10 list right now. Jimmy Graham, new life with Nick Foles at quarterback. Very interesting. Tyler Kroft, Eric Ebron, I would say the benefactor of Deontay Johnson being injured early. Robert Tonyan for Green Bay. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers divvying and throwing that ball, distributing it to the rest of his team with Devontae Adams out. Zach Ertz, Alie-Cox, Jesse James takes a touchdown away from TJ Hawkinson. Jonnu Smith, Greg Olsen, and Rob Gronkowski makes the list for the first time as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. So here's the score sheet. You can see that ESPN and RoccoBot. ESPN has an overall lead, 18-17. Tight ends, we end up tying this week. Now let me hand out my award, the Nut Kick Player of the Week. He didn't actually get me, but I had a really nice projection on him. The number 1 projection, according to RoccoBot, Tyler Higbee. Very interesting here because I knew Buffalo would be pretty strong over the top in this defense. I didn't think Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp would get like long touchdown grabs. And what ended up happening is they got in the end zone on short kind of intermediate routes and running after the catch. But Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett both finished with 2 catches. This was something I was worried about to start the season, and I laugh about this because Tyler Higbee proved me wrong the first 2 weeks, and then he came crashing down to earth. But again, I think that was more game plan related. I think Buffalo really made it a point to not let Tyler Higbee beat them, and the talented wide receivers beat them. So kudos to Buffalo, the defense, for taking Higbee a little bit out of the game. Kudos for to the Rams for adapting to that and using other players around the area, namely Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Now, the I'm Watching You award goes to Jimmy Graham in Chicago. If Nick Foles is the starter here, Jimmy Graham needs to be rostered. I'm not a believer. I have never been a believer in Mitch Trubisky. Now, he can score as a fantasy quarterback from week to week. Don't get me wrong. But Nick Foles is more of an NFL quarterback. Shoot, he won the Super Bowl, for crying out loud. He's a good quarterback. He knows this system. He's had time in this system back when Nagy and Foles were together in Kansas City. I'm not worried about that at all. He's a better quarterback. I can't believe that the Bears started the season with Trubisky, but Trubisky was 2-0, and Foles comes in, leads the Bears back. Now, is Foles going to be the starter next week? As of the time of this video, it's not confirmed yet. I'm assuming he will be, but if they drop back to Trubisky, I'm going to say, just hold off on Graham, or maybe stash him and wait until Foles is in the roster. So let's talk about waiver wire pickups. I mentioned before, now Jimmy Graham's number 2 on this list. He'll be number 1 if Foles is named the starter. I just don't like that uncertainty as of the time of this recording. Logan Thomas, I love quite a bit. I mean, he's getting a lot of targets. He's physically imposing. He has opportunities in the red zone. His problem is that Dwayne Haskins is throwing them the ball. I think Washington needs to change at quarterback, just like Chicago needed this past week. Alie-Cox, he's very athletic. I like him. Indianapolis is going to be using tight ends across the board. He's looking like probably the best receiving tight end they have on this roster at this point. We saw what happened a couple years ago when Ebron, Jack Doyle gets hurt. Ebron comes in, starts scoring touchdowns like crazy. I think Alie-Cox can be that guy for Indianapolis this season. And then Greg Olsen, when you have a quarterback on pace to throw for over 70 touchdowns, you pick up the tight end there. He hasn't really gotten in the end. He might have gotten in week 1, but he hasn't gotten a ton of these touchdown grabs, but there's a lot to go around. He'll get in the end zone, trust me. So I think he's a good guy to pick up in Seattle. So there you go. If you're hurting a tight end, you have a couple of really good options. Oh, man, Jimmy Graham with Foles at quarterback. Ooh, that could be a really, really good one going forward. So keep an eye out there. As we always do, we do the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and defense and special team. Check out those videos. Check out the full Week 4 playlist. There should be a link in the comments below to that. And once again, please let me know, what was the gut punch? What was the kick to the crotch at the tight end position for you this week? Were you playing somebody that had Jimmy Graham in their lineup? Did you play some Bears fan that had no business starting Jimmy Graham and they end up starting him and you lose because of that? I want to hear the stories. Let's commiserate. Check us out next week. We do these every week. And root for Rockobot. Let's take down ESPN. Come on. All right. Hey, everybody, seriously, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you again soon.